Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. We're going to get started right off the bat with our first two community songs. Here we go.
I'm
walking with the Spirit,
and I'm
talking to the Spirit.
I'm
learning from the Spirit,
and I'm
turning to the Spirit.
I'm
growing in the Spirit,
and
it's showing in the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. I'm finding myself in one of those situations that's leading to some kind of drama or confrontation. I go within and get plugged into my friend before it's too late. I put Spirit in front of me to make those crooked places straight. I'm walking with the Spirit,
and I'm
talking to the Spirit. I'm learning from the Spirit,
and
I'm turning to the Spirit.
I'm
growing in the Spirit,
and
it's showing in the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. When I find myself in one of those situations, when I don't know what to do and I got no explanation, I go within and get plugged in for a revelation. 10 times out of 9 it'll work out fine without my participation. I'm walking with the Spirit,
and
I'm talking to the Spirit. I'm learning from the Spirit,
and
I'm turning to the Spirit.
I'm
growing in the Spirit,
and
it's showing in the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me. I'm walking with the Spirit,
and I'm
talking to the Spirit.
I'm
learning from the Spirit,
and
I'm turning to the Spirit.
I'm growing.
I'm growing in the Spirit.
And it's showing.
It's showing in the Spirit. I'm walking with the Spirit in front of me.
I see
Trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I see
Skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay, the camera's going to be blurry today for some reason. Hopefully that'll mitigate itself. We'll try a few things here in just a minute. In the meantime, welcome to my blurry world. That's just an inside view of what I see every day. My name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am honored and privileged to be the senior minister here at Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. And it is my pleasure to remind us of who we are. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the very diversity of creation. We strive to live authentic spiritual lives through a practical application of the teachings of science of mind. We engage in sacred practices that uplift our spirit, deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. We demonstrate active compassion to ourselves, each other, and the world. We experience meaningful contribution through giving generously of our time, talents, and treasures, and we intentionally promote our community and our teachings. And one of the things that we do every Sunday morning to live our value of inclusivity is our inclusion candle lighting ritual. And I have a special guest here with me this morning that I didn't know I had, the almost official Reverend Julia Robles Scott. And we light these candles to celebrate the unity of all people, all faiths, all beings, all life. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for Taoism, honoring the path of ultimate reality, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. we light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the middle way and path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the teachings of Jesus as the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought teachings, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles of love and law. We light the 10th candle for absolute inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome and celebrated here. And we light this final candle, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation, seen and unseen. And I'm going to take a short pause and try to make one quick adjustment, and then we'll go to our next community song.
What do I want? What do I desire?
What will bring me to my highest good? What do I want?
What do I desire?
What will bring me to my highest good?
Prosperity.
Prosperity.
I claim it.
I claim it.
Abundance.
Abundance
is mine.
is mine.
Love
Love
flows through me.
flows through me.
I feel joy.
I feel joy
all the time.
all the time.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I claim it.
I claim it.
It is mine.
It is mine.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I am it.
I am it.
It is mine.
It is mine.
Peace
Peace
fills my heart.
fills my heart.
I surrender.
I surrender
everything.
everything.
Health
Health
is my birthright.
is my birthright.
Passion.
Passion
helps me sing.
helps me sing.
I can have
I
it.
can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I claim it.
I claim it.
It is mine.
It is mine.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I am it. It's my time.
It's my time.
I release.
I release
and let go.
and let go.
I accept.
I accept
what is mine.
what is mine.
I can have.
I can have it.
what I want.
What I want.
And let spirit.
And let spirit
direct the flow.
direct the flow.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Life is fun.
Life is fun.
Life is great. This song is
Done.
done.
All right, so at some point we just surrender. What's more important is what I say, not what I look like while I say it. So I invite us all just to navigate the insanity of this moment. And here's our announcements. We are open. We have people, hey people. And we have you on YouTube, Zoom, and Facebook, who are getting a different experience than the folks in the room, unless they forgot their glasses. Then they may be seeing the same thing you're seeing. We have a bead system in place. If you want people to stay 6 feet away from you and not touch you, you can don a red bead, and that communicates that. If you're still figuring it out and you just want folks to ask, you can wear a yellow set of beads, and that will communicate to check in with you before they touch you or get too close. And if you're good with people being in close proximity, then you wear a green strand of beads, and that tells folks that they can approach you and have conversations with you and touch you and in a socially appropriate way. If you want to save a seat beside you, then you can use one of the seat placards or two of them that we have when you come in. Put one on either side that says, please don't sit here, and that creates a safety in the space for you. Okay. We have started a parent support group for the whole community here in Nevada County. And so if you are a resident of Nevada County, if you are a parent, if you are challenged in any way dealing with your child, imagine that. This is a place where you can come and get support. We are not doing therapy. What we're not doing therapy. We are not here to indoctrinate you to science of mind. What we are here to do is give you a safe place to vent whatever you're going through, to connect with one another, to build a support system, and to share resources, and for us collectively to explore what services would be helpful here in Nevada County, and then we can figure out a plan of how to approach the powers that be to see if we can make those happen. Okay. We are continuing our annual giving drive. It is also our annual membership drive. And so if you have previously been a member, you would have gotten a practicing reciprocity card in the mail. We've talked about it the whole month. We're cleaning up our membership roster, so it's important that you send that back. We do have a plan in place. The board is going to be reaching out to folks. If you don't send them back, we're going to reach out just to make sure that you're intentionally not sending it back, because things can fall off our radar, especially during the holiday time. If you happen to have brought that back with you today, you can put it in the offering basket when that goes around. There's also the option to fill this out online. Dina put it up on our website, so if you are more comfortable completing it online, please feel free to do that. We are looking for 2 new board members. Our annual meeting is at the end of January. The board applications will be available in the newsletter later today. They will also be available through email. If you are wanting one, I can email that to you, and I will be working with Dina to get that loaded up on our website so that you can access it there as well. So, Christmas Eve, we will be having an in-person candle lighting service. We will also be live streaming that so that we get to include everybody. And that is a time where, in our faith tradition, we celebrate the birth of consciousness in form. We hold Jesus as an amazing teacher and as an example rather than the exception. And so I invite you to mark your calendars. Come join us 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve for that ceremony. January 1 from 12 to noon, I will be hosting a vision board workshop right here. The only thing you will need to do is register for that. Pay the $25 in advance. That pays for everything you need, and then all you have to do is show up. Everything will be here and provided for you. Starting next year, the first Wednesday in January, which I believe is January 5th, we will be starting a Going Deeper discussion group. And that will be where we take the topics of the week in the Sunday talk and just have an open conversation about those and how we're working with those to put the teachings into nuts and bolts and practical application. Because it's one thing to hear it and get it in our head. It's a whole nother to live it in our lives. And so this will be an ongoing discussion group. Go ahead to the next slide, Dale. Thank you. We invite you to get the spiritual journal from Centers for Spiritual Living. It is already laid out with the topic for the year, the weekly topics, and gives you a framework to begin to journal about those things, whether you choose to opt into the discussion groups or not. It's a really great journal. Deborah and I have ours. It's a beautiful booklet and just laid out really nice. So that's an option for you. And that is it for the announcements. I will be, at the end of the service, I'll be talking about this tree behind me, which may be what's causing my focus problems, but it didn't earlier. Surrender really does invite us to surrender. So we're going to go to our time of inward shift. And I invite you to consider our community value of integrity for just a moment. And to contemplate integrity from the standpoint of wholeness. That integrity in our English language tends to focus on truth-telling. And so if we extrapolate truth-telling to absolute truth with a capital T, what would change in how we show up in life if we focused on the integrity, the wholeness of truth itself more than our truth, more than our version of truth, more than our interpretation of truth? If we include that, but move beyond that to be grown by integrity itself, the activity and necessity of the whole. And I'll talk more about that in our talk today. So I'm going to join Marilyn in singing us into the meditation, and then our guest will lead us in our opening treatment. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can feel the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
I'm feeling into this presence of love, knowing that God is all there is. I feel that place within my being where my heart is open and that love is able to pour forth. Knowing that I am one with the infinite power and presence that God is. I know this is the truth for each of us here. We are that one God presence, that love, that power, that light in that life. This perfect life that is the life of God. And we get to live it. And I am so grateful to be a part of this spiritual community. Knowing that we are one in the wholeness and allness of life itself. We are one family, one community, one world, inclusive of everyone and everything. And so, feeling into that presence of oneness, I remind myself that the oneness is the truth. That we are the infinite in expression. Perfect, unique beings of spirit. And so today I remind myself to be grateful for all the amazing things that are going on in the planet, in the world. But most of all, the amazing transformation that's happening within us. That spiritual evolution. That reawakening. That re-remembering our divinity as God beings here on earth. And so I'm thankful for this center, for this teaching, for this philosophy, knowing that it transforms us within and transforms the outside world. That this love that we feel here and are in today is everywhere present always. So today I choose to open up my heart and let that love and light shine. Not only into this room, but this community. And out into the world. For it is love that heals. It is love that is our strength, our support. It is that truth of goodness within each person. And so I speak my word for Sierra Center for Spiritual Living, knowing that this is a divinely guided organization. So grateful for Centers for Spiritual Living. Knowing that as we navigate these challenging times, that we do so together. And that we are always remembering to be inclusive, for we are all one. And so I just let these words go into the law, knowing this as our truth. And I just say, thank you, God. Thank you for all of it. Thank you for everyone. As I release and let go, and together we say, and so it is. Okay, so our affirmation for this week, I'll read through it once, and then I'll invite us to read it through together. I live my gratitude as the activity of conscious and intentional reciprocity. And together. I live my gratitude as the activity of conscious and intentional reciprocity. And so it is.
And for you, I'd like to share a song called Thanksgiving, as it was born on a Thanksgiving many years ago. Special people know what to say, though they may not be there, you know that they care anyway. Life is really real, I know just how you feel. I may not know what to say, but you know that I care anyway. You have been a friend to me, I'm happy to say I like you. In a world with no guarantee, I'm happy to say you are my friend. Oh yes, I am. I need to take the time to say what's on my mind. I'm pleased to find that we make time for each other. People come and go as populations grow. It's so good to know that we can count on each other. You have been a friend to me, I'm happy to say, oh, I like you. In a world with no guarantee, I'm happy to say you are my friend. Oh, yes, I am. Thanks is what I feel for you. Thanks is what I give to you. Thanks is what I feel for you. Thanks is what I give to you. Oh, thanks, that's what I feel for you. Thanks, I give that to you. Oh, I'm grateful for you. You have been a friend to me, I'm happy to say, oh, I love you. In a world with no guarantee, I'm happy to say you are my friend. Oh, yes, I am. I hope that you can see how much you mean to me. As these words I sing, I'm wishing the world harmony. As these words I sing, I'm wishing the world harmony. As these words I sing, I'm wishing the world harmony.
Okay, so that worked. It's the lighting behind me. Let's take a breath together. So today we're talking about gratitude beyond gifts. Not gratitude after gifts, not gratitude for gifts, but gratitude beyond gifts. Gratitude beyond the form. Gratitude beyond the getting. Which really, that little thing that we say that it is done unto us as we believe is really what we're talking about. This thing of reciprocity. And as Marilyn was singing, what came to me was, what would our lives be like if we really grasp, not just had an idea about, but really got that everything a heart could ever desire has always existed, that we were born into it as a place where it unfolds. That really it's not about asking for something to happen. It's not asking to get something. It's knowing that the desire of our hearts is the activity of life unfolding as us, and all we really have to do is pay attention and say yes. To pay attention and say yes. But we live in this human realm where if I want something, I have to go get it. If I want something for Christmas, I make a list, and I give that list to someone, and they go shopping, and hopefully they get what's on the list. Hopefully. But what if our spiritual list isn't in our human mind, but it's the activity of life itself wanting to unfold itself as us? That's what we teach. But it's not so easy to grasp. It's not so easy to get our arms around, and it's certainly not easy to get our human heads around. That everything that comes up as a desire in my being is already fully present. It is eternal. It was here before my physical form got here. It will be here after my physical form is gone, because life itself is infinite possibility, pure potentiality. That creation is always pregnant. Right? That we are always pregnant. Something is always gestating in us, looking for a place to birth. And that's what this thing called desire brings us to. It's a challenging thought in this human realm. At least it is for me. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you wake up and go to sleep every day in absolute unshakable conviction. I don't. It's a process of remembering and forgetting and forgetting and remembering. My dear friend, the late Reverend Jeff Anderson, used to say that it's, he thinks of it as a balance beam. And that it's not about staying on the balance beam all the time. Because nobody stays on the balance beam all the time. Even our greatest gymnasts, they fall off. Right? That's why we practice. Right? And so this thing of spiritual walk, of spiritual practice, if we think about it as a balance beam, perhaps it's more about recognizing when we fall off and using the tools to quickly get back on than trying to stay on the balance beam. Because typically what happens is when we set up this standard of I have to stay on the balance beam, we have a premeditated guilt and shame thing happening. Because as soon as I fall off, instead of focusing that I fell off and how to get back on, I have to spend a certain amount of time thinking what a piece of garbage I am because I fell off in the first place, and how inadequate I am that, I'm a minister and I can't even walk this talk, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's just me. I can tell by some eyeballs in the room it's not just me. Right? What if we understand that falling off is part of the learning, and it's okay? What if we understood that evolution is life unfolding? How do we be grateful for everything? See, that's a pretty all-inclusive word. I'm sure many, if not most of you, are aware of the Ahmaud Arbery case that just unfolded in Brunswick, Georgia. Young African-American man who was murdered by 3 white-skinned men. And when the verdict came in, guilty, 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 I had a moment of gratitude, and right behind it came, what exactly are you grateful for? And I had to take myself to a spiritual exploration, because I certainly was not grateful on any level that Ahmaud Arbery was murdered. I wasn't grateful that 3 white men murdered him. I wasn't grateful that 12 jurors had to go through the process of seeing everything that happened. And I know as a former law enforcement officer in EMT, you can't get rid of those images. I wasn't grateful that those 12 people and everyone in that courtroom is now carrying the impact of this act. I wasn't grateful for any of that. And so I had to go to prayer. It's like, what am I really grateful for? Am I grateful for what in the human realm felt like justice, and in some part of me, if I'm being honest, felt like retribution? Am I really grateful for retribution? And if I look at my own life and all of the things that I was never held accountable for, I'm not serving myself up and saying, hey, these are things that I never got caught for. Hold me accountable now. So am I really grateful for that? And where I finally came to was what I was really grateful for was a shift in consciousness. Because it took a shift in consciousness for this whole thing to play out. Because when it first happened, it was summarily dismissed, brushed under the rug. Literally, it was documented. There's nothing here to see. There's nothing here to see. Nothing happened that we need to deal with. And there was a shift in consciousness that unfolded, that demanded attention. There was a shift in consciousness of 11 white-skinned jurors. In the South. And trust me when I tell you, being from the South, there was a shift in consciousness for that to play out the way it did. And I had to take myself to accountability within myself. Was I living in a sense of gratitude during the trial? Was I believing that shift in consciousness was already present, or was I hoping and wishing for it? Because faith is the substance of things not seen. And if I have to see it to believe in it, I don't really believe in it. What I believe in is the form, not in the consciousness that creates the form, not in the substance that shows up as form. And if I'm telling the truth, which I have a tendency to do, I was doing a lot of hoping. I was doing a lot of default praying to the God outside of me that I grew up with. And I take myself to account on that. Because this thing of reciprocity, this thing of gratitude, is knowing, not knowing about, right? We know about up here. But when we move it from our head to embodiment, we know that everything already is already here. It's not an easy thing to do. If it were easy, we would have to knock the walls out and add a block to our building. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to let go of a Savior outside of us and stand in absolute responsibility, for it is done unto me as I believe. Because I was raised in a world, in a culture that says I get to blame you. Right? Everything that has gone sideways in my life is somebody's fault, and it's not me. Accountability heals. And so I'm grateful for accountability. I'm grateful for teachings that continuously awaken me to what is actually operating in me that is in the way of what I actually am. Let me say that again. What is actually operating in me in the way of what I actually am. Because I can only experience what I actually am to the degree that I'm willing to embody it. We can think about it. Marilyn and I rehearsed yesterday, and we were having a conversation afterwards that, acknowledging that most of the noise in our head is thinking about our thoughts. It's not our actual thoughts. It's static. And that when we get to our actual thoughts, it's that fork in the road. I can either own that, wow, this is what I'm thinking, or I can blame society for making me think that. That's what they taught me. I'm only thinking it because that's what I was taught to think, blah, blah, And the more noise it is, the late Bishop John Shelby Spong. I love that man. I still love that man. He was criticized for stepping out of the lane that his religion put him in. And he met that with an awareness, as he said, that the majority of the noise comes from the shallow end of the pool. His words. I completely agree with him. Are we willing to recognize when we're in the shallow end of the pool? See, it's easy. It's easy to be in the balcony and look down at the pool and see who's making the noise. It's a whole nother thing to own that I'm in the balcony and my arrogance making just as much noise because consciously I'm in the shallow end of the pool. Are we willing to do that? Are we willing to live in that level of gratitude and be grateful for the awareness, to be grateful for every messy moment on the journey? Dell and I were talking before. Interestingly enough, we had opportunity to practice it, that every oops is just an aha waiting to happen. Mistakes happen. It's how evolution unfolds. You know, when they were building the airplane, they didn't just go, oh, airplane, poof. That's not how it happened. There's a lot of trial and error. And will we be grateful for the process of the trial and error? Will we be grateful for the grace that allows us to grow? And then will we extend that to one another? In this human realm, I think that is best referred to as forgiveness. In the spiritual realm, I don't think the infinite knows one thing about forgiveness, because that would require it to first condemn. And I don't think it does. It just loves. It just loves. It extends grace. It creates out of itself, by itself, to be itself. And then in order to expand its experience of itself, it completely lets go. That's what we call free will. And how interesting it is that I am good celebrating my free will when it serves me, but when your free will does not serve me, no. Somehow I make that something different than the exact same free will I have. Will we be grateful for every messy moment? Will we dare to love those who hate? Will we dare to literally embody the thing we are created out of and love everything and everybody the same way we are loved? When you go outside, you have never once experienced the sun going, you know, Rafe, I was going to shine on you today, but you did that thing yesterday, so no sunshine for you. Ever. And if we're being really honest, some of us have done some pretty atrocious things in life, whether anybody else knows about them or not. Sometimes it's just in our own mind, but we still played it out in our mind. And yet the sun continues to shine just as brightly on us as everybody else. I dare you to find the place within you that will love that radically, that will pray for those who despitefully use you. Even if it starts off with, God bless that sorry, fill in the blank. You got to start somewhere, right? Start in honesty. And pray, as Emma Curtis Hopkins taught us, to pray for everything you want to be manifest in everybody else first. First. That's a tall order. Right? And I'm going to close with this. Every hallway takes us to where we're supposed to be. And some of those hallways are dark, and some of them are well lit. And some of the doors off of those hallways have doorknobs that are lit up and easy to find. And I invite you to consider that some of the greatest gifts that you will ever unfold in your life are at the very end of the darkest, most narrow hallway. And there's no doorknob, but there's a door. And if we will just keep going, if we will just find within us the belief that there is no darkness, that's just what we're experiencing, that life is continuing to unfold even when it feels the darkest, and to keep going, and then when you come to that impasse, to lean in and that the leaning on that door opens it. And if you get scared, sit down in the hallway. Take a break. Sit down. Rest. Regroup. Understand that the divine is not limited by experience. It's not limited by appearance. That principle is never bounded by precedent. And just because the last hallway took you to another dark hallway doesn't mean this one will. But it does mean life is unfolding exactly as you believe it. And if you want light in your hallway, see it there. See your hallway lit up. See your path bright. But understand that sometimes the very floor of the hallway is being laid under your feet as you step. Because life cannot unfold as you any faster than you're willing to unfold. It doesn't drag you, it invites you. It invites you. Reciprocity is exactly that. And spiritual reciprocity is giving before you get informed. It is the activity of giving, knowing that what you give is reciprocal. And so the Son gives, and growth happens. Right? Rain falls, evaporation happens. We give because life gives to us, and we give back to life. That's how it works. If you turn off the tap, it doesn't turn off the flow of life. It just turns off your experience of it. Let's take this into prayer. And so what I know, what I allow myself to recognize is the wholeness, the oneness, the integrity of life itself. This eternal beingness, this infinite intelligence, this absolute abundance, creation itself, always pregnant with possibility, always birthing newness, always giving of itself to itself, to expand itself. And as it expands, it creates. This is reciprocity. And knowing that I am an integral, unreplaceable, never to be repeated expression of a desire in the heart of the infinite. I know that I am one with that. I know that my life is the activity of divine reciprocity. And I know what is true of me is true of all. And so all life is reciprocity in action. And so I speak this morning, claiming, affirming, demanding a realization in consciousness of the reality, that absolute reality of reciprocity in, through, and as each expression of life. I speak a word claiming and affirming that consciousness is unfolding at the level of not only embrace but celebration, that it is done unto us as we believe, and so we choose to believe the truth of our being, that we are divine emanations of the one infinite presence. And we live that truth. We live the reciprocity of spiritual truth. We live the principle of reciprocity. We live in a state, in a being of gratitude for every messy moment of this beautiful journey. And we say yes to going down whatever hallway life unfolds in front of us, to embracing the journey as creation unfolding itself as us, an embrace of the intricacy and necessity of each in the whole. We live in a gratitude for that. A gratitude that is beyond human understanding. A gratitude beyond the necessity of form. A gratitude that lives in the wholeness and the integrity of life itself. And so it is from this gratitude that turns every messy moment into a message. Every ouch into a hallelujah. Every oops into an aha. That I release. And I let it go. Knowing that it's already done. Perfectly, wholly, completely. And so it is. Let's take another breath as we shift. So this is our time of intentional giving, where we practice reciprocity in the financial realm. And so I invite you, if you're joining us online, that you visit our website, click on that little donate button, and give just as freely as we have given to you. If you are here in the room, if you brought your intentional giving card for the year, you're invited to drop that in the offering basket. And I invite you to give the same way. We give, or given freely we give. Let's say our intentional giving affirmation together, shall we? I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Please receive the gifts.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
And so I speak a word of gratitude for the infinite formed as money, knowing that the energy of the infinite nourishes, sustains, and grows Sierra Center for Spiritual Living, that we give through Sierra Center for Spiritual Living to do good work in the world and awaken every expression of the infinite to its magnificence. And so it is. Thank you. Okay, so we did the giving tree last year, and I'm not going to turn it on right now until I have time to undo the autofocus on the camera, which is very confused this morning. So we're going to do the giving tree again this year. And this year, we're actually starting off with a pretty amazing thing. A couple of folks have jumped in ahead of time, and we actually have a matching fund of $3,500, which means if we want that $3,500, we got to give $3,500. So if you give $10, that $10 automatically becomes $20. If you give $100, it automatically becomes $200 until we exhaust that matching fund. In complete transparency, which is how we run things around here, we're running about $17,000 shy of our budget this year. Now, about $6,000 of that came from painting the building. So, but even if we back that out, our giving is down, which just makes us like pretty much every place else on planet Earth right now. And it is done unto us as we believe. And so you just happen to have a minister who is completely crazy enough to believe that we will finish the year with a balanced budget. And I do not have to know how. That's none of my business. What I have to know is that it's already done and that it is moving in this direction to show up. And so just like in last year, I invite you to send cards that say Giving Tree with your donation for the Giving Tree in that. I invite you to make an additional donation online. You can put in the note that it's for the Giving Tree, and as those come in, we will put them. That's how we will decorate the tree this year, just like we did last year with those cards. If you give online, I got a few cards laying around. I will put your gift in there and put your card up there. If you want your name mentioned, please tell me that. Otherwise, we will leave those anonymous because most folks tend to want to be anonymous, and so it's just easier to give you the option that if you intentionally would like to be mentioned as giving to the Giving Tree, please let us know that, and we are happy to recognize you publicly for your giving. Those that have given to the matching fund have specifically asked to remain anonymous, and so you won't be finding out who they are unless they tell you, because I will not be telling you. Okay. Remember, on your way out, there is a box over there. If you have a prayer request, please fill it out, drop it in the box. Myself, Rev Lanny, Rev Madeline, and the practitioners will hold your prayer request in prayer for the week. Also, there's a basket over on the table for your beads. As you are finished with them, please drop them in there. We sanitize them every week so that we recycle them. And if you want, on Thanksgiving Eve, we did the what are you going to practice gratitude for the year before you see it this time next year. You can still get in on that. The cards and the envelopes are over there on the table as you exit. You're welcome to fill one of those out. They are kept in our manifestation treasure chest, and then I will mail them back to you the week before Thanksgiving, and you will be amazed at what you've manifested that you've completely forgotten about because you turned it over and you let it go. So that's how it works. Let me put that back in there without setting my beard on fire. It's the important things. Okay, I think that's it. So I invite you to stand and let's do our benediction, and then Marilyn will sing us out. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dell, for being the wizard behind the curtain. Thank you, Mary Lou, for being our greeter this morning. Thank you, Jill, for our poinsettia. And thank you, Marilyn Gale, our board president and musician. Thank you. I so appreciate. Oh, yes, and Julia, who is like, in my consciousness, in Oregon. And yet here she is. So thank you for being willing to wing it impromptu. And thank you, Rev Lanny, for shouting out that. Listen, I forget things. I'm real good with people reminding me. Thank you. It takes a village. All right, here we go. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It is this thing called divine pregnancy.
It is this thing called divine pregnancy.
It is this thing called gratitude.
It is this thing called gratitude.
It is this thing called reciprocity.
It is this thing called reciprocity.
I know it. I feel it. I sense it. Say it like you mean it. 'Cause I am it. And so it is. All yours, Marilyn.
I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. One more time. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission